We're going to see a national record broken in athletics later and a goal for a very determined athlete.
And we start with shooting. Today was the last day of competition, and after a clutch of silvers and bronze, the hopes of the entire shooting team and nation rested on three women: Nicole Tan, Chiao and Tae Siu Hong.
Singapore looking for more medals down at the Dagon shooting range, and that's exactly what they got. Over the last 2 days, it has been the 25-metre pistol for women and their event, and yesterday was the precision round in which Nicole Tan, Chiao and Tae Siu Hong were performing. The girls did extremely well. As you can see, Nicole Tan getting a little bit of coaching there with this event. The precision is all about what it says. You need to be precise, and after the opening 3 rounds, Singapore were top in the team event. Going into today, it was all about the rapid fire round, where each competitor has 3 seconds to take the shot, and unfortunately for Singapore, they managed to lose that mantle of the gold medal position, but still great shooting from Nicole Tan and Chiao whereas Tae Siu Hong just dropped off slightly, but nonetheless the performance from the Team Singapore athletes meant that they would get the silver medal. The top 8 competitors then qualify to go into the individual event. Nicole Tan there, whose best score of 573 this season isn't really her best. She has shot better before, particularly when you consider Chiao has a 586 as her best score this season. But it was Nicole Tan that was driving the force home for Singapore and making sure that she was hitting the target. Siti Noor Masita was pushing her close from Malaysia, and it ended up in a shootout between these two girls to see who would win the gold medal. It was nip and tuck after they managed to draw the first round. It went backwards and forwards all the way, but in the end it was Nicole Tan that has ended up with gold. So not only silver for the team event, Singapore win gold in the 25-metre women's pistol shooting.
In 2009, 2 Singapore shooters made the individual final but came up blank. This time it's a gold, so well done to the team.
Well done indeed, and you can hear the huge sigh of relief all the way coming from Singapore. You know, in 2011 the team got just 1 gold and 1 silver, and Chef de Mission then, Dr. Tan Eng Liang, had said the shooting team was a major disappointment.
So imagine if they didn't come back with a gold this time round, but they did, okay? 1 gold, 4 silvers and 3 bronzes.
Well, they did target 2 gold medals, so it's not an A grade for them, but we're confident their performance in 2015 will be A+.
Yeah.
And this athlete's performance shows just where pure grit and determination can get you.
We're back here at the Nalai Dam for the rowing competition, and Team Singapore is represented by the only rower, Saiyidah Aisyah, who has bagged a bronze previously. Today, her event is the lightweight women's race, where a goal is a possibility. As the only athlete to represent the nation in rowing, there was a lot of pressure on Saiyidah Aisyah to perform well in the women's 2,000 meters lightweight single sculls race. Unlike other sports, Aisyah had no teammates to confide in during her preparation for the finals. If that wasn't daunting enough, 2 Olympians were in the finals, namely Puttaraksa Nigri from Thailand and Srijinlet from Myanmar. Positioned right in the middle, Aisyah had the Thai next to her in lane 3, while the Myanmar girl was in lane 6. It was the Thai who took the lead in the first 500 meters, but Aisyah kept pace right behind the 3-time Olympian. Into the 1,500 meter distance, and while the Thai rower still fronted the race, it was the Indonesian Maria Magdalena Daimoy, a gold medal winner in the double sculls yesterday, who was fast catching up with Aisyah. By the end of 1,500 meters, the Thai had a lead of 5 seconds over Aisyah, the Indonesian in third, less than 2 seconds behind Aisyah. So it was do or die in the final 500 meters, and this was where an inspired Aisyah made all the difference. She increased the work rate and overtook the fast, tiring Thai rower. With the Indonesian now her closest challenger, Aisyah picked up a pace and crossed the finishing line in first place, the Indonesian and the Myanmar taking silver and bronze.
Actually, my mental preparation started last night. I kept on watching rowing videos, going through my previous rowing videos, the professional races, but physically preparing for it, it started a year ago. So it wasn't just a one-day thing, a month thing. It was like, and this was my 10th year rowing, and I'm so happy that I finally got the goal. And this is what I've been working really hard for. And I'm going to cry again.
For an athlete who has been training solo since the 2011 Games, this has been a remarkable feat.
A fantastic achievement by Saiyidah. It's all the more impressive given that she's been funding her own training and competition expenses throughout this year. She cries as good as she rows.
Exactly, and you know what? It's definitely all for the love of a sport. So a salute to Singapore's only competitive female rower. And that goal and her owner will go into the annals of SEA Games history.
Well done indeed, Saiyidah. On to hockey next, and after a defeat to Malaysia yesterday, the women's team were hoping to get back to winning ways.
Now, and Singapore looking to bounce back from an 8-1 defeat yesterday against Malaysia, whereas Cambodia, well, they lost by a world record score of 36-0 to Malaysia. As you can see, Singapore already 2 goals up. Jana Lim it was with the first 2 goals, then Eunice Teng made it 3. All this in the space of 11 minutes at the start of the match. Singapore running riot after yesterday having to put their shoulder to the wheel and really battle hard against the Malaysians. It was 4 just moments later. Rosanna Sanip it was that managed to pop that into the back of the net, and 4 soon became 5. It really was a dominant display. Eunice Teng getting on the end of that one. Lots of penalty corners, lots of good play here from Singapore in this game. Cambodia relatively new to the sport, which is why they're seeing so many heavy defeats, but nonetheless competition is what it is all about, and that is exactly what they did. They came but they couldn't conquer. Edith Chan made it 6, still more before half-time. That is how rampant Singapore were. The simplest of tap-ins for number 7, Chua Sin Ni it was, that made sure that there was going to be no questions at all asked here. So it was a question really of how many Singapore could get. And Chua Sin Ni scoring, well, just into stoppage time at the end of that first half to make it a really comfortable 8-0 lead going into the second half. Singapore carried on where they left off. An early goal, nicely just pushed home by Noor Saiyidah. There was no problems from her. Then Noor Sabrina got in on the act as well. Drilled one straight into the top corner. No problems whatsoever. Really good finish from her. Penalty spot was used as well. Hua Ling Ho making no mistake to make it 11. Sorry, in fact, that was Rosanna Sanip. And then it was Hua Ling Ho that added it to make it 12. Just coming off from the byline and scooping it into the empty net. Goals kept flooding forwards. Jana Lim getting on the score sheet yet again. That's going to do her confidence and the team's confidence no harm. And a really well worked penalty corner there from Singapore. Again, it was Hua Ling Ho that made absolutely no mistake right there. 14 became 15. Noor Sabrina got her second, so she'll be happy. And Rosanna Sanip managed to wrap everything up to make it Singapore beating Cambodia by 16-0. That puts them on 9 points, and they look like they will be competing in the bronze medal match.
Hey, you know what? Really well done to the Singapore team, but I think big props to Cambodia as well for having the spirit to go on.
Yeah, exactly.
The men are up against Malaysia tomorrow, and it's going to be a really tough one.
Malaysia, hot favourite to take gold in both men's and women's. In fact, they have won gold every time hockey is featured in the SEA Games, except for that once in 1973.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to be cheering Team Singapore on, of course, but stay with us. Men's and women's 100-meter final, the 400-meter hurdles up as well. Stay with us right here Today at the Games.
Live from Naypyidaw, you're watching Today at the Games. Coming up, the blue ribbon event in athletics. It's, of course, the 100-yard dash.
And you know what? The men lost the relay by just 0.04 seconds yesterday. That was absolutely heartbreaking. But today, there was a bit of a chance to make up for it. Shanti Pereira, the national record holder for the 100 meter, of course, for women, was also running in the finals this afternoon.
And let's not forget as well our flag bearer at the opening ceremony, Dipna Prasad. She's running in the 400 meters hurdles. She's the national record holder as well for that event. Here's all the action from the Wuna Tegdi Stadium.
The 100 meters men's final here now, and I have to say this is a fascinating one because we've got Mohammed Amiruddin Jamal involved. There he is, he's in lane 3 and he has a really good chance of a medal here. The ties obviously with Jirapong are clear favourites. There's Wandi and also Waturaman as well, but in lane 1 we have Van Hong Yun. 2 we have Eddie Edward. 3 is Mohammed Amiruddin. So let's see whether or not he can actually come here. Let's quiet for the start. They're away first time, and that's a very, very impressive start by Mohammed Amiruddin. But it looks like Thailand's Jirapong is coming through very strongly as well. Meena Pra together with this Wandi, and it looks like it's just the Thai Jirapong Meena Pra who has taken the title. 10.48 was the score there. Mohammed Amiruddin Jamal has taken the bronze for Singapore, time of 10.55.
I took a stumble out of the blocks. Could have been better. I guess the fatigue from yesterday got to me. But it's pretty good. Like I said earlier, coming into this race, I was 4th in the season overall. I managed to get a bronze, so I guess there's a job done for me.
Now the women's 100 meters final. And again, we have an interest in this one. This is Veronica Shanti Pereira. She'll be in lane 7. Oh, and that is a false start. And in fact, it looks as if it's a technical problem here. Let's have a look. Oh, right in the centre there. It looked like Tassaporn was first to rise. But nobody has been blamed for that. No one has been withdrawn. And there's another false start. So in that case, it was Kei Kin Luen in lane 2 that rose first. But again, it was a technical fault, and you can see why. The judges are now looking at the gun and the coordination, and that sign signifies they're all clear. Here we go then, and the start this time. Away nicely is Nirunuch Klomdi. In 3 and 4 is Thi Hong Vu, and Veronica Shanti doing well as well. But look at that. That's an absolutely magical performance by Thi Hong Vu of Vietnam. She comes home in a time of 11.59. She was 3rd in 2011 with 11.73, but she takes the title this time round. Gold to Vietnam, but Singapore in 4th with Veronica Shanti. Now the women's 400 meters hurdles final. We've got a significant interest in this one as well. The flag bearer, Dipna Prasad. There she is in lane 7. She had a national record of 60.36 on the 20th of October at the Malaysian Open. Let's see whether or not she can improve on that one. This Southeast Asian Games record is 56.78. I don't think that one's in danger at the moment. But we've also got in the field in lane 5 Wasana Winato, who's gone 10 gold medals already in the Southeast Asian Games. She was 2nd in 2011. She's up again. It looks like the front 3 runners at the moment are Thailand, Vietnam and Singapore, and just left of screen at the moment. Dipna Prasad doing really, really well. But look at the yellow-clad Thi Lan Quach of Vietnam. She's absolutely steaming out there. She might live to regret that. She's really, really going so hard at the start. 3/4 stage, coming around the final bend, and Thi Lan Quach in absolute control, but she is struggling a little bit. She's tying up coming around that final bend, and good on Dipna Prasad. She's doing really well, but coming through Wasana Winato. So there's only one more flight of hurdles to go, but just look at this. Thi Lan Quach is really holding on. 1 metre, 2 metres, she's tying up, and this could be an absolute dramatic finish in the 400 metres. It is. Wasana Winato takes it. 58.85 is the score. That's her 11th gold medal of the Southeast Asian Games. Tilang Kwat gave it everything, but tactically she was a bit naive. She went out too fast, had nothing left in the tank to cross the line, and that was a chance for Wasana Winato to take it. But just look at that. Dipna Prasad gets a new national record, 59.96 for the bronze.
I'm really happy I managed to break my own personal best, which happens to be the national record. And I'm really grateful that I managed to break the 60-second barrier, like, finally. I'm especially grateful because my parents made a special trip down to support me in Myanmar, and this is the first time they have left Singapore to come and encourage me, so it's a really great feeling.
Well, a couple of days ago we were making the point that some people actually write off this regional competition, but you know, it's really a great chance for the athletes to improve on themselves, and this is exactly what we mean with Dipna Prasad. New national record, going sub 60 for the very first time.
Absolutely fantastic, and perhaps, you know, she maybe got a bit of an added spur from her boyfriend, Po Sing Song, who's actually also a competitor here at the Games, and he's running in the heats of the 200 meters tomorrow.
So all the very best, Sing Song. Time for a break right now. We'll be back with another traditional medal-winning sport for Singapore. That, of course, is table tennis. We'll see you in a while.
It's today at the Games with Team Singapore action from the 27th SEA Games. The table tennis team competition started this morning at the Wuna Tek Di Indoor Stadium.
Now, you know, this time around, the Singapore Table Tennis Association has decided to send new blood. So, no Feng Tianwei and Gao Ning. Only 3 players have competed in the SEA Games before. That's Yu Mengyu, Isabel Li and Pang Xuejie.
Now, the target, 3 or 4 goals on offer. The Singapore women taking on Indonesia, and the men, having defeated Malaysia in their opening match, are actually up against Indonesia in their second.
Wuna Tek Di Stadium, it's table tennis time, and a lot of people in Singapore will be saying hooray for that, because we've got a really good chance. We didn't have the team events in Palembang and Jakarta, but we've certainly got them here in Naypyidaw. And immediately we start out with the women, and Yu Mengyu came a little bit unstuck against Novita in the opening game. She lost it 11-7, came back very strongly in the second to take it 11-9, and now very, very close here, takes the third 13-11, and then absolutely dominates the fourth game, 11-2. It's gonna be 2-5 now. This is tempting, isn't it? Tempting fate, and that's gone. It's 3-5. 11-8 was the result of this one. Some cagey backhand undercut play there. Brings up the first game to Isabel Li. She's done well. It's very close in the second. Look at this, 11-10. And again, the chopper does really, really well. Eventually takes out to 12-10, Isabel Li. And then the end of the game, or end of the match, in this particular tie by 11 points to 9. So 3-0 in favour of Isabel Li. In this particular matchup, we've got now the doubles coming forward. It's So Han and Isabel Li against Novita and Wijaya Wuliansa. They took the first 11-2, it was an easy one, and then the second there you can see 11-6, and now very, very much tighter in the third game, but it's still game and match point to Singapore. And this final rally, and that's it, it's 12-10. And the women have done well here. They have taken this match up, this tie against Indonesia by 3 matches to 0, I beg pardon. On to the men's, and we now have a match-up between Tan Chien and Vicky Supit of Indonesia. 11-4 in the first, 11-6 in the second in favour of Singapore. And now it's game and match point in favour of Jian. Now moving immediately on to Li Hu. He's started the first really well here. He's got a good position at 10-7, and he goes on to take the game 11 points to 7. And Glang Malana cannot resist that kind of inside-out forehand, brilliantly played. 11-7 in the second as well. There you go. And now the third is a little bit tighter, but Li Hu still in control. Defends well and then puts that one to good effect. 11 points to 9. Yon Merdi and Glang Malana now team up against Chen Feng and Chen Jian. 11-9 in the first, 11-5 just about coming up now in the second. That was a little bit long, giving a point away there, but 11-5 the ultimate score in this one. Lots of leaning down, bending, stretching, and the boys facing us for Singapore are really going very well. 11 points to 9. They win this third matchup. So in the tie, Singapore and Indonesia, they have won that one, and overall in Group A they have beaten Malaysia as well. So a very, very impressive performance by the men's team, and Singapore going well. They've won that one, and they are 2 out of 2 at the start of table tennis here in Naypyidaw.
The women will take on Malaysia tomorrow, and the men are up against Laos, so all the very best to them. Right now, though, let's get you an update on other results.
Let's do it.
Okay, sailing has won its first medal. It's a silver in the Optimist team event. Thailand, by the way, took gold by winning 2 out of 3 races.
In the snooker singles, Ang Boon Chin lost in the preliminary rounds to Malaysian Tor Chuan Leong. Lim Chun Kiet fell in the quarterfinals to another Malaysian, Mo Kin Hoo. And here's a bit of a look at the medal table. No surprise there, Thailand still top of the table with 64 goals, Vietnam with 48 sit in the second, and Indonesia has relegated Myanmar to 4th place with her haul of 45 goals. Singapore sits in 6th with 22 goals, won a historic goal in rowing, and also in the bag 21 silvers and 31 bronzes.
So well done indeed, and that's it for edition number 6 of Today at the Games. Tomorrow, more scores and updates on Team Singapore athletes as they make their way through the 27th SEA Games.
Athletics and table tennis on the cards as well, amongst other sports. So make a day with us at Today at the Games at 11 p.m. but tomorrow. Thanks for watching. My name is Divyan Nair.
And I'm Mark Richmond. It's good night from Myanmar.